All right, y'all. What's up? My name's Lee. We're here on the first episode of the MBIT show. I got my boy Trey Scott here, man. You'll go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Trey Scott, like he said. Um, yeah, I'm just glad to be here. Tech Bag Trey is what some people know me as, but glad to
Tech
be
Bag
on the
Trey.
show.
Yeah, it's funny because like for a minute, like when we first started kind of getting connected, I couldn't even think of I kept on calling you Tech Bag Trey instead of calling you Trey. Like, even though I'm talking to
Yeah,
my wife, I'm like, yo, yeah, I'm about to talk to Tech Bag Trey on the phone. She's like, call that man by his
Trey.
actual name. Like, call that man his government.
That's definitely okay with me. I prefer Trey. It's definitely good.
No, it's all good. It's funny because and on this, I wanted to kind of talk about tech sales, but we're looking at, I've been working in tech now for like a little over a year, and my wife, she was stay at home for for the past year as well,
That's awesome.
and so she's actually trying to transition into tech sales. So one of the people, that kind of helped inspire that was definitely you, in that watching some of your videos and seeing like your day in the lives, and just kind of you speaking transparency on it, transparently on that. So like, just tell me a little bit like why tech sales? What before, like what was going on for you before that?
Right. So, just to, kind of rewind a little bit, for the last 8 years, I worked in a clinical pharmacy for a Fortune 500 dialysis company. And basically, in 2021, they sold our proprietary juice on what we did. They sold it to a company in New Jersey. And that company, they were like, hey, you can come to New Jersey and we got a spot for you, or that's it. They had no remote spots to work. So I'm like, I'm not leaving Texas to go to New Jersey.
Right.
That
Nah.
that just wasn't happening, man. And so I just made the decision. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm out. After 8 years, I'm done. So I kind of washed my hands of that, but at the same time, I didn't want to just jump into any old other thing, and I also didn't want to go back into pharmacy.
Right.
And so what I did, one of my cousins, he's been in the courier business for like literally the last like 5 or 6 years, and I knew like what he was doing, but I didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
And
Right.
so that Christmas, because that all happened with the pharmacy and the New Jersey company. That happened around, I guess, October, November of
Mhm.
2021. And that December, normally our families, everyone in the family, we're all together for Christmas and things like that. So I used that time to kind of pick his brain and just see like what that was about. And so he broke it down to me. He was like, "Yo, I wake up at 5 in the morning and I'm done by 12." And he's a
Okay.
video gamer, so he loves games, and nothing wrong with that. And he was just like, I go take a nap at 12 to 1, and then I play video games the rest of the day. And he was like, I did 50,000 last year.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang man, I wasn't even making
Not
fifty
bad.
thousand at the pharmacy. I
Right.
was like, why you just now telling me this?
Right. You be holding the secrets, man. Like we was
Ba-
family.
Basically,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I played video games, but I wasn't playing them like that. So in my mind, all that computed to was like, yo, if you're doing 50,000 like that, I know I could probably do 70, 80, 100,
Right.
whatever.
Easy. Easy.
Yeah. So I just kind of went down that rabbit hole of, he taught me the game. I got my LLC and I just got to work. So, I kind of started doing some things around the city for Pepsi and Home Depot, stuff like that. And I quickly realized that I did not want to be in like literally driving on the road
All the
for
time. Yeah.
the rest of my life. Kind of, it was just for some people that's good, but
Hmm.
it was just not there for me. And
Right.
so around like maybe 6 or 7 months in, I was doing pretty good. The height of it, it's ups and downs because you're in business, but at the height, consistently doing like
Hmm.
1,200 to 1,500 dollars a week. And but it again, it was taxing on my mind. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I came home one day and I watch a lot of educational stuff and a lot
Hmm.
of stuff on YouTube, and I turned YouTube on, and the Anthony O'Neill show was popped up like it normally does.
Yeah, normally,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and this time it had someone on, talking about tech sales and sales engineering, right? And so literally, his name is Cyrus,
Yeah,
but I was like, yo, let me check this out. And I was intrigued to say the least. So
yeah,
I went down that rabbit hole. Okay, what does this look like? What is the trajectory of the position? And then obviously what that bag looked like.
yeah, of course.
And
Tech bag.
listen, man, and everything checked off, and I'm like, all right, I'm in. So how do I
Yeah,
do it now? So they spoke about a couple of different ways to get in. For me, I was trying to get in with the best way that I could. So I went with a course career boot camp,
hmm
and literally I got in. It took me. Um, I started on September 9th. I finished on September 26th with everything, with the boot camp and everything. And then by October 19th, I was signing the offer letter. And my first day was October 31st, 2022. And so I've been rocking ever since.
So let me ask you. So like because I didn't calculate how many months that took, but like altogether from starting course careers to getting the job, like how long was that?
Man, I literally, I guess you'd say from September 9th to October 19th. So
Yeah,
what, a little over a
a little
month,
over a
month and a
month.
half? Yeah, a
So a
month and a
little
half.
over a month, and you had transitioned into technology. Did you have like any technology background at all? Do you have any experience?
No, man, I came from pharmacy,
Yeah.
and then after that, I was driving on the road. So, uh, no no technology experience. To be honest, prior to that video, in my mind, if I wanted to get into a tech company, I had to know how to code, and
Right.
I had
Right.
and
Yeah.
I had no interest in learning how to code. I had no interest in doing any of that. So
hmm
tech companies never even crossed my mind until
Yeah.
watching the show.
No, it's funny because like that was the same thing with me. Like I think I told you I got into technology, but I came in through like the cloud computing side. So like I'm a solutions architect at AWS, and we're kind
Yeah,
of part of the pre-sales org. So there's that connection. Like you've heard about sales engineering. Essentially, solutions architect is like the same thing as that. The difference is that solutions architect, we are pre-sales for all cloud technology. So like all
yeah,
the AWS services or whatever cloud provider that someone's working with. And then like a sales engineer is going to deal with all SaaS. So like, you as a SDR, you're going to set those appointments for the account executive, and then the account executive is going to set up that, demo with the sales engineer to demo that product specifically. So it's
yes,
very,
sir.
very similar, very similar. But, it's definitely a lot of money in it. And, this is just another testament. Like for me, like I didn't have any tech background either. I kind of came from finance and real estate. Like I was doing finance and real estate, man. And very similar story. I made a decision in October of 2021 to transition into technology, and in November of 19th, I got my first offer for Amazon Web Services. So
Let's go.
it's definitely, like, I mean, God, definitely God for sure. But at the same time, it's that tenacity, man. Like it's really you're why. Like, all right, I was like, hey man, I need to make six figures. Like I need a six figure
Yeah,
job, man.
yeah,
So I went from making what I was making in that business to like instantly making six figures. And it was like, yo, this is wild, man. So there's really money in here. And I was thinking like, yo, man, they're keeping the secrets from us. They've been keeping this secret from us.
Listen, man, you don't know what you don't know, and that's why you
Mhm.
gotta always keep your ear to the street. But yes,
Right, right,
it
yeah,
for a long time, it seemed like somebody might have been
yeah, holding
keeping
that
this stuff
down.
on lockdown, man.
Because you best believe, I mean, it's software been around for many years. We've been using software for a long time, and
We've
nobody
been
ever
losing
talked about
forever.
selling it. Nobody talked about selling it. All right, so let me ask you. So you said you did course careers. Me and my wife, we both we did course careers as well. Had a really good experience with that. She's actually going through interviews right now. She
Oh,
finished in the
awesome!
month, and she has interviews this month. So maybe she'll be another testimony here
I
for a story
believe
of
it.
someone who literally over a month from making the decision to go to tech sales, now she'll get that, getting a tech sales position as a SDR. So like, what was like your experience with course careers? How was it? How was the information? Did you feel like you learned a lot? Did it help you in getting the job?
Yeah. So my experience with Course Careers was it. It was amazing, man. For me, I learned best with video. So that was a big thing for me. I do like in person, but video is just as great. Now, I'm not as good with written. So, and what I mean is like, normally when I'm reading, like if it's not something that's like super interesting to me, then I have to read it like 2 or 3 times. So for me, video is the best. So it's a video course, and you literally can go at your own pace. That was one of the other better features for me as well. So that's how I was able to finish it in that time frame. And as far as the information, it gets straight to the point. So if there's no fluff, it's everything you need to be successful in a SDR, BDR role. And it just goes down the line, and everything you need to do to make sure you're set up, right, to go ahead and be able to position yourself to have a good job waiting on you when you finish the course. And what I mean by that is, it goes through the LinkedIn's and, setting up your resumes and all of that. So it makes sure it goes down the list of everything you need to do to really have success in the field. And yeah, it did that. When it comes to the job side, they do have companies that they partner with to be able to help you get experience if you need it, right? There's some people coming in with no experience. And so they have companies that they partner with, and you can go through there. It might take you a little longer. For me, I didn't want to wait. So I applied to those jobs, but I also went to the other side and got on LinkedIn and started doing my own applications. And I ended up taking an offer with a company that wasn't a part of their partner program, but they do have paid internships that you can, get you experience and ultimately possibly go on with that company or just get experience to go with another one. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I'll say like definitely same. Like I agree, like the information's been was really good. I have a really strong sales background in general, but with CourseCareers, it really helps you learn that like the actual terminology of like tech sales, like learning what SaaS is. So it kind of helps in a sense. Like you could go and Google all this stuff, but it puts everything in that one spot for you where you can really streamline that. I imagine that for someone who didn't take like a boot camp or something, it would probably take them months to amass all the information that was inside of that one CourseCareers course. So like in general, that's something that you would recommend for people who are looking to get into tech sales?
Oh, I definitely would. I mean, you can choose to, like you said, do it on your own, but you got the time that it would take to try and figure out and piece things together. You could already be working in a job. You might as well go with a place or something that has everything in it for you, step by step, so that you can streamline those processes. You don't want to take forever trying to get that done just to say you did it for free. Now, if you're resourceful and you don't mind and you have the time, hey, cool, all about it. But if you're trying to make a change in your life and you want to do it as quickly as possible, it's for the money spent, it's the best solution to try and get you over into the tech industry.
Yeah, I know. I'll say like I've seen people they're spending like $3, $4, $5,000 to get some of this information, and CourseCareers is giving that information at like 10% of that same cost. And a lot of us spend money on degrees, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I have several degrees, and they've definitely helped with adding to my discipline and adding to me selling myself. But I'm not working in any field that has to do with my degree, so it's definitely not completely necessary. But that came with a $50,000 price tag.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's great. That comes with a high price. So
yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, that's the story for a lot of Americans, a lot of people. That hey, I got the degree, but now what? Or I got the degree, but now I'm working in something totally different. So um, that is a big thing in today's society, but at the same time, you do have this other option over here. I personally, I don't have a degree. I'm a 2-time college dropout to be exact, but it just wasn't for me, right? So I had to try and figure out a different way, and for me, it was boot camp. So to get in pharmacy, I did the same thing. I took a 9-month boot camp and was able to get in. And like before I left, I was around like $23 or something like that an hour, which is well over the average, but also I wasn't your average. So
Right.
I was expecting that. But there are other ways to get things done in life. You just have to be resourceful. You have to keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, and to build relationships.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's good information right there, man. I'll say, like, again, no, we're not saying that college is a bad thing, y'all. Just so
Oh
you
no,
know,
I never
we're just
will.
saying that it's not for everybody.
Hey,
It's not
hey,
for everybody.
the good thing is I am married, and so my wife has a degree here. So,
Hey, so y'all basically y'all both got a degree, because
you
y'all
better
one.
believe
So
it. Exactly.
you
You
married, so
caught.
y'all both
I didn't
educated.
say that. I didn't say it, but you caught it.
All right, so
That's
you
exactly
have
what
a
I was
degree.
saying.
You have a degree. Nah, man.
Exactly.
But now let's talk a little bit about that. Now you said that you finished course careers, you got that tech sales job. Like, what was the interview process like?
Yeah. For me, I was trying to get something together so that I can choose from what I wanted to pick from. And for me, they were pretty standard. I didn't know at first until I started going in the interviews, but it basically seemed like there would be three interviews, right? So
Right.
the first interview was normally with the recruiter, and that recruiter went over the basics. Um,
Mhm.
Literally just, hey, this is what the job entails. This is how much they're paying. This is, everything that you need to know about that job, and make sure that you know that. And then if you have any questions, you can ask them. And then also they'll ask you a few questions, but they were really light, like,
Right.
nothing serious. And so if they felt like you were a fit, then they would send you on to the next interview. And normally that next interview was with uh, your manager, or the person that would be over you,
Yeah, yeah.
and then that was a little more in detail. You still rehashed everything that the first interview went over, but
Mhm.
then it got into a little more details about you, um, your background, and a standard interview.
Right.
um, After that, it was normally with the manager's manager, or like, the head person over the department. And sometimes that's in the second round. So they might only have two. And so you might do a panel interview with everybody there. But normally that third interview, that is trying to get your mindset, rehashing everything from the second. And then what's your mindset around? So it's really different types of questions.
Mhm.
Then you might actually have to do you might have to sell them. You might have to actually sell something or their product, or how would you sell their product? Now, it's not a surprise, right? They're going to let you know that in the second interview, and they're going to send you everything you need. But sometimes that is the case where, they want to see where your baseline is, and, you know, kind of if they can help you get to where you need to be successful in their industry or in their job.
Mhm.
So that was pretty much my experience. After that, they'll call you or email you with whether or not you are getting that offer.
So about how many interviews you think did you do before you actually got a job?
Like, I don't know, three or four. I went fast. I was like, all right, I'm going with this. I knew I wanted, like, for me,
Mhm.
I did a lot of, now when you talk about applications, I did a lot of those.
Right, right.
Yeah, I was trying to get 3 to 5 a day in through the week, so none on the weekends, but did a lot of those. But by the time I picked, stuff was still rolling in for setting up interviews. I was politely declining because I
Yeah.
was done. I was done. I'm like, this is the industry I want to be in, on the personal side. So why not go ahead and jump in? So yeah, I stopped at about three or four.
Yeah, yeah. So let me ask you this question then, man. So like, all right, so you didn't have a tech experience at all, had no background, like, and
Hmm.
they were aware of this, right? Like you put it on your resume, they see you have no
Oh yeah,
experience. So
yeah, yeah.
like how did that come up in the interview? Like, I guess did they say anything like, "Hey, you don't have no experience," or like what was going on there?
Yeah. So I mean, they're gonna ask you, what is your experience, and then you have to figure out a way, which the course talks about, right? But you have to figure out a way how to turn your experience that you do have into the experience that you do need to get that job. And
Mhm.
it's not lying, it's just reframing what you already do and making it fit into what they do and how you
Right,
can help
right.
them. And so that's pretty much all I did.
Yeah, so you're talking about transferable skills. Then at that point, yeah, man, it's the same thing. When I had my interview, like they knew. You saw my resume. I never worked in the cloud before. Every
Right.
example they gave me, I made sure I tailored my actual experience, and I found a way. Like, okay, hey, like, so you're selling cloud stuff. I've been selling stuff forever. It's the same concept. I have to figure out if they're a good fit for the product. I have to sell them on it. There was cold calling involved. I'm calling home buyers and home sellers and stuff.
Exactly.
And those are the same skills that you're going to use for this. Now, a lot of people, they get afraid of like the word like sales. Man, I know I used to be one of those people too. You're like, oh man, I don't want to work in sales. I want to work in sales, man. But like, what's like different? Like, for people who are, I guess, worried about or scared of sales, like what would you tell them like is different about this industry from what they're thinking?
Yeah, it's nothing like what you're thinking. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
When most people think of sales, they think about the guy or the woman that coming knocking on their door trying to
Mhm.
sell them some water that they already have water in the house. They don't need
Right.
it. So that's the mind frame you're thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
In this side of the industry, tech sales, you're selling B to B or business to business, and
Mm-hmm.
that's totally different, right? The solutions that you have for the company that you're trying to speak with, they actually will affect their bottom line or their money.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can help them either save money or like make money. That's a
Right.
big difference than selling them a trinket that, or selling a person a trinket that they may or may not use 3 months
Right.
from now. And that's what you're thinking about. So you want to reframe your mind into thinking like, hey, I'm I'm trying to sell something that it can really benefit this company years from now, years down the road, right? So
Mm-hmm.
whether that's time, money, streamlining processes, it can actually affect what they're doing. So they're actually, they're wanting to listen. If you, if you, not everybody wants to listen, but if you can really get in and share what you do, it can actually help and benefit that business. So it's totally different.
Right. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. So then, with that, then, like again, people they're worried about the lack of experience. Getting on the job for you, even though you had some transferable skills, was there any type of like training? What was the onboarding like?
Yeah. So you'll understand quick. It sounds different, but it's just like working at a regular job. It's just a different space altogether. But look, when you get on somewhere, you don't know their processes, right? You might have experience in a certain sector right now, and you might go to another job and you have experience in that job, but guess what? They do it totally different. So guess what you
Mhm.
have to do? You got to learn their processes and how
Yeah.
they do things, even though you have experience. So
Right.
it's the same way, except you just don't have experience now, if that's who we're talking to.
Right.
So you're gonna go into that job. They're gonna have. It depends on the job, but from what I see, have saw, most of them have 1, 2, 3 months of training before you're actually like fully in and got the ball rolling. So they're
Right.
gonna make sure that you're well equipped to kind of sell their products or really ask the right questions regarding their products. They're going to make sure you do it right, because
Right.
remember, they also are trying to make money, so they're not going to just, hey, go go
Go
do
do your
that.
thing. Go do your thing.
No,
Right.
you're
Nah, yeah.
you're representing their brand, so they want to make sure that you are as well equipped as possible, and also you have ongoing training and ongoing help with your peers and your management team. They're going to make sure that you're good to go on that side.
Yeah, man. It's funny. You made a good point there. Like I try to tell people the same thing. Like it doesn't matter like any job you have, man. Like even if you went to school to go be a doctor, like it doesn't matter how much degree you have in it. You don't learn to be a doctor until you actually start being a doctor.
You better
You
believe
don't
it.
learn accounting until you become an accountant. Like every job I've ever had, it didn't matter if I had the educational background or any of those things. When I came into that that place, it was a whole nother like ball game. Like it was whatever they had going on. Like I worked in budgeting. I had to learn how that budget, how they do their budgets there. It's not
Yeah,
all one size fits all. So it's not like, I guess maybe if you're like, even if you're like a nurse and you might go from nurse from hospital to hospital, but it's still gonna be that learning curve of like, well, they use this different types of software, they use these different charts, they organize files different. So this is no different than that, y'all. It's very, very, very similar to any experience you've ever had. You did not have experience in the jobs you've worked until you've done it. It's simple as even McDonald's. You did not you did not know how to work at McDonald's until you got at McDonald's. So that's definitely something right there, man. So I appreciate you saying that. Like, no, so let's talk a little bit about like your day to day. Like, what does it look like for you, being in the role?
Yeah, day to day, it can vary because this role is pretty. I'm not gonna say you're on your own, but it's not micromanage and people over your back all the time. You kind of, hey, this is your territory. We taught you what you need to do. If you need help, we're actually right here. But you got free range, right? So what you'll start to realize is that everybody kind of does their day different. For me, I start off in the morning just kind of making sure I clear out my emails and that have came in overnight, make sure nobody left me a voicemail or send me back an email regarding me reaching out to them. And then after that, I try and get started on my calls. You'll have a quota that you need to hit is regarding that. And what I realized really quickly is that's the one thing that I can't control, right? So, how many calls you make, you can control that. Whether or not they answer, can't. Whether or not I set a meeting, can't control it. But what I can control is what I do. And so I make sure that I get that done. I don't know about every company, but most companies these days, they have a lot of meetings. So I have quite a few meetings a week. So for me, that's why I start off early on my calls and try and get those rolling so that I can make sure that even though I have these meetings throughout the day, when the day ends, my quota is met at minimum, right? As far as that. So that's kind of what I do there. I start off, make those calls. If I have meetings in between, if I schedule some meetings with some potential clients, I'll get those done. And then depending on the day, we normally have like a team sync where, we might get on and at the end of the day and just kind of go over, well, that's Monday. So we'll go over what happened last week and all the great wins, if somebody got promoted, all this stuff. And then the rest of the week is pretty much the same, except, you might add in a few mock call sessions with the team or, like I said, it's just meetings. But outside of that, that's pretty typical. You just making those outbound calls, setting up meetings, and going with that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, man. So what advice, we talk about a lot of things, but what advice would you give someone, I guess, like now who's like on the fence, they're trying to figure out what they want to do. They hate the job that they're in. They're looking for something different. Like what'd you tell them right now?
If you're looking at this video, you're obviously interested. If you've looked at any other thing regarding this subject, you're interested in it. If you're interested, why not? Why not try it? Why not go ahead and see what it can do for you? You've already seen what your current situation is doing for you.
Right.
So, if what you're seeing online from all these other individuals, if that's intriguing you, if it's better than the situation you're in right now, you might as well jump in. Just do it, right? Try it out. The thing is, you already know what you're doing now, and you've been doing that for however long you've been doing it. Even if you tried this and you tried it, at least you gained another skill. At least it didn't cost you, right? It's not like you went to the club or whatever and bought $500 worth of bottles, right? Or whatever. I heard it was expensive, but
I ain't been. I don't know.
No, I mean, yeah, I never drunk or smoked in my life, but I heard that stuff is expensive inside of the club. So, you spend all that money there, or you spend all your money, out to eat and all this stuff, and you don't think twice about it. After that experience is done, it's done. At least if you spent it here, or you spent it trying to get another skill, well, hey, what's on the other side? Another job making way more than you make right now. more skills than you had before that you can use in any other sector or space. You never know. The job you're at right now might have tech sales. So you get in this skill, you can just move right on into
Definitely
that.
move over. Yeah.
It might be people in your job making more money than you are right now just because they have a different role. So if you have an opportunity to try it and get in, I would. That's what I would say.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know, you talked about a lot about money and everything, and you know, a lot of us are chasing like this tech bag or these bags, right? You know, we're chasing this generational wealth we want to build, and you know, technology is definitely one of the greatest vehicles right now doing that. You know, for me, again, yeah, I went from making not six figures to making six figures, you know, in a month. And like that's just like the beginning, you know, for people who kind of go into tech sales, is that same earning potential, six figures plus, is there. And it's like how you use that becomes so important because you can really, you know, build things. You can really build wealth. You know, I know you're kind of like me. You know, we kind of take some of this money and we create businesses out of it. You know, we're thinking how can I you know make more with this money that I'm making? Because a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck right now. You know, and
67%.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 75. My bad. 75%, man. 75% of America is living paycheck to paycheck. So
paycheck to paycheck.
Three out of 4 people that you pass,
they struggling. They stressed.
That's just what statistics say.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just what it is. You know, that's kind of what it is. So like if y'all looking for something to increase your income and you know, again, like don't be afraid of tech sales. You know, sales is not as bad as you think. You already selling everything you do is sales already. When you go to interview for any other job, you gotta sell yourself. You know, you getting sold every day anyway. So, you know, might as well go ahead and sell some people, make some money on the way with it, man. But, you know, Trey, I definitely want to thank you for taking time to get with me this morning, man. I know it's actually, I don't know how early it is for you, but, you know, I know you're busy.
Oh, yeah.
You got things going on, man. I see you got on some of your merchandise, man. You know, tell people where can they find you?
Oh, yeah, man. If you're on YouTube already, you know, after you watch this video, go ahead and turn on Tech Bag Trey. Just type that in and you'll find it. But yeah, that's where I talk about tech sales and my experience and everything that's going on. And then, yeah, this is some of the merch here. You can find that at techboysclothing.com. So, but yeah, that's where you can find me on LinkedIn as well as DRC Scott on LinkedIn. If you want to see where I work and all that stuff, that's there as well.
Yeah, and I'll make sure I post those some of those links in the description for you all too, so you ain't gotta take down notes and remember it. But you know, I'm gonna make it easy for everybody who's lazy out here.
That's most society, but it's okay. We're gonna get you out of it. You see that back there? We're gonna get you out of it, right?
Yo, hey, my son mindset is everything. Let's get it done.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Hey, no problem, man. Y'all have a great one.